What's up, everybody? Welcome, familia, to the live chat. If you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me in the live chat. I had a little bit of a hard time with my audio yesterday. So please let me know that you're on here and ready to go. Melanie's writing plans. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all having a great week. Me too. Thank you so much. I'm having a great week and semi great. We have the family is getting a little bit under the weather. But and then today is my Luna's birthday, my daughter Luna's birthday. She turns 11. Happy birthday, babe! I love you so much. Um, and so today I want to talk to you all about journaling and taking ideas and how to get ideas. Some people are coming on here and leaving comments and saying, "Hey, I'm inspired now to make my own journals and to journal," and that makes me very happy because that's the whole point to all this is that you get ideas from this channel and that you take those ideas and I don't know, make them your own, like get carried away with them. And so today I'm going to show you just a different way that you can get ideas. I'm so bummed I didn't make it to the live stream from when you finish your pocket notebook. How are you liking it? It's great. Yeah, it's a fantastic little book. It came out perfect. Um, I don't know. We decided with this as the cover, and then we decided that we were going to go with writing quotes. So this is our journal, our community journal, and I'm excited to keep working on this. Maybe we'll get some quotes from you all later for the book. If you hear me smacking into the air, it's me trying to get this mosquito that's trying to get me. So it's either me or him, and he's got to go. All right, so one of the places where I gather a lot of ideas from, other than YouTube, because YouTube is great, but another one is Pinterest. And I noticed that there are some YouTubers that aren't really fond of this app, and I don't understand why. Maybe they're being sponsored by other apps, or maybe they found something else. But I found that there's really nothing like this if you know what you're looking for. So when you're approaching journaling and you're not exactly sure where to start, you don't know what to do or how it works or why you should even journal. One of the main things that I want you to be mindful of is that different strokes for different folks. There are so many different ways to journal, and you just really have to find your way and your style. And I hope that doesn't discourage you or overwhelm you, but it's very, very simple, and we're gonna kind of break it down a little bit here today. The first thing you want to be aware of is that my dog just freaked out. Made that noise. So that was my dog freaking out. Um, the first thing you want to know or you want to realize is that depending on your temperament, your personality, there is a journal out there for you. Some of us are very creative, and not talking smack about people who are not creative, but some of us are very creative. And for those people, there are things like junk journals and art journals and things like that you could get really creative, right? There are like things like bullet journals where these journals can get really. Sorry, you're gonna hear crazy people driving through. My son is coming to visit. Came to drop off some coffee, and he. No, these are fine. Thank you. Um, and since we have a drum in here, he always has to go and stop by and drum a little bit. So that's why he goes bop bop bop, because he's mimicking the drums. But so there's a journal for you. There's definitely different things that you may be experiencing in your life in the moment, and one journal style will talk to you over another. I know that I have those moments where if I'm down and I'm not feeling the way that my life is going, maybe drawing isn't the thing that gets me out of my funk. Maybe I pick up a guitar and I start writing some stuff, or I start practicing some old songs, or I might take out my saw and build something. But there's always something for me do or turn to that helps me get out of my funk. And I definitely switch between journaling seasons, long form. I was in long form for most of August and September, but now I'm happy if I jot down a few lines or even track my health. That's right. So you have all types of journaling approaches, and I want to talk to you just a few, just touch on a couple of things that you can uh, um, look at and hopefully gain some kind of inspiration and say, hey, I want to look more into that. Okay, one of those ideas is, as you can see, I have a playlist titled Steel Journal Ideas, and this is where I learn things like how to punch holes in bookbinding, or I have things like these little ideas. And even though, okay, gentlemen out there, please don't get discouraged if you see that all of these have ribbons and stickers and really nice handwriting. Like, this is the style, but you can always take something from it. It doesn't have to be a ribbon, or there's always something that you can steal from these ideas. For example, this type of bookbinding, I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting, and I might look into it if it means that I don't have to sew something. Then you do have sewing ideas, things that you can pick up from that, like buttons on your journal to give it that, especially if you have like a fabric, it makes it look like it's a suit or some kind of jacket, right? And then look, here's something else. These interesting buttons, and what looks like a cardboard paper with some kind of a band, like an elastic band that pulls and shuts the journal shut, together. Maybe you're looking to find a way to wrap your journal, and here you just go one idea after another idea, and you can go into um, this really awesome rabbit hole of ideas. And so one of the ideas that I want to explore here is, the first thing that I really really love is junk journals. So this is junk journal pockets, but this is very similar to the style of journal that we make here on the channel. As you can see, it's an accordion, an accordion journal. Um, but you might get ideas, see, like this. I mean, I've never even seen one that small. I've always seen them bigger. But taking ideas like that and then seeing what other people are doing with them, see, printing photos and then keeping some kind of a an album, a photo album. And this one's glued differently. See, the accordion is actually loose. There's no, we have the ends are both tied. This one just has one glued, and it comes out and it pops out. You bring it in and you close it, and I'm guessing you tie it. So you see it has ribbons on here that you can tie. So this might spark a new idea for me and say, cool, I want to make something like similar to this. I have, you could just keep going here, and you could see how other people are folding sheets of paper to make a little booklet style journals for themselves. Maybe you come across a journal, and then you like the aesthetic, and you say, cool, I want to create something similar to this. And maybe you're like, oh cool, like a box, I like this box. So that's one style. Junk journal. Am I still in the junk journal? Oh no, I'm still in this concertina type. So junk journaling is more of a collector's type of journal. If you like collecting things like paper, or if you're a person who likes texture and inks and sort of a messy look, but you want to organize them, if you like that vintage look, especially, I think it's that's very common to see old photographs like this with a dark background, handwritten notes, stamps. As you can see, this, like these stamps that are here, some, typewritten paper in the background that stands out. It's very faded. You keep old, like, receipts or slips of some sort with faded writing. And as you notice, like when I zoom in on something, when I zoom in on something, it refreshes down here and it gives me more ideas of what I captured. So if I go here, these slips, I get more ideas of these slips in the photo. But if I zoom in more, you're going to see more ideas of these slips. And if I say like I like these numbers, I'm gonna get more, or this fish. It might give me more fishy ideas or stamps. Well, it recognized it as a stamp. So um, Pinterest is really great for just gathering ideas, and you could just go crazy here, just collecting ideas in one particular thing. One of my favorite things that I see on here often, other than these awesome collages, are these photographs that are painted or drawn, after the fact, and it looks like it's part of the photograph, but it's not. I've seen a lot where people's eyes get, crossed out or tape. This is a piece of tape, and so you can add that look to your journal by, maybe you print out a photograph of someone and then scratch out their eyes or put a piece of tape over their eyes to like show that, keep them anonymous. Or maybe you just want to express yourself in that way. You see how they cross the eyes out like that? It's just that's an aesthetic. You can do creative things like this. It's just a way of having fun, relaxing, enjoying this process. Junk journaling, I don't even know if this will still fit with junk journaling, but I love things like this. You see, like, it's a photograph and then it's cut off, glued, and then you have still the same photograph probably with a white background, and then just writing text everywhere, right? And things like this, like, just it's all about texture, I think, for me when it comes to junk journaling. Things like this, the photograph, and then torn pieces of the photograph, you tear them out. Just a way to express a feeling in a photograph form, which I really love, doing. It's collage. You take pencil. It's about all that. Just text, texture, pictures, receipts, all that. So there is a way of doing these. This takes a really intuitive. You have to have some kind of intuition to do this type of journaling, because it's it looks easy. Some people might look at this and be like, what is that? That's junk. It's just put together. Anybody could do that. But no, I challenge you to try to do something. It's not going to come out as creative as you think. Like, it is intuitive too. So there's that type. I've gotten a lot of ideas from neo expression. I like Basquiat type photos, but I also like this, where it's like mixing a loose sketch in the style of, like, what's it called, like, urban sketching, right? And everything that's framed in a box of some sort. You have a torn piece of paper here with some writing, and then you have different text, things that are crossed out, just things like that. There's this beautiful image as well. More of that. I like that. So you could take a journal. It doesn't have to just be that you document in writing something that happened to you in your life. It could be a picture. And that's why I like making these specifically, because I have ideas, and some ideas can be written down and others have to be drawn. They can't be written down. And then other times, other ideas, I have to take pieces like this, like pieces of paper, and glue them, or write something. Instead of buying a sticker that says one of my favorite quotes, I can write my favorite quote, and I can turn this into a sticker by gluing it right onto the sheet. And it has contrast. So there's that style of journaling. Then you have, so we have junk journal. Tom Sachs is another artist. He's like a sculptor that really likes to make sculptures out of things that he finds. And sometimes I gather ideas like phone holder ideas, or organizing certain things, because he's a master of organizing tools and organizing things. So it gives me the idea to, to hello, get organized, and have everything on hand. Uh, More junk journal ideas is, you see paper, cutting out things, gluing things, even sewing things with a sewing machine you have here. Um, what else? Let me see. This one is about mark making. That's another thing. It's making marks onto a piece of paper and making patterns, cutting out different sheets of paper, and finding shapes and finding patterns to them, crossing things out. So junk journal, as you can see, is my favorite. This is more collage, but I like that this is still part of junk journaling. Um, but you have, let me see if I can find an example. Look, like things like this. I love little things like this. Cutting out little things and just the paper texture and taking all these beautiful little pictures and making something out of them. I do that. Let's see. I need to head. Oh, okay, Melanie. Thank you so much for showing up. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Take care. Um, if there's anybody else on here, just go ahead and say hi. Let me know if you have a specific type of journaling that you'd like to explore or that you like to follow. I can definitely bring it up on the screen and we could talk about it. But this is also one of my favorites. I don't know, just dealing with dark paper, writing, handwriting stuff. These types of journals are awesome. I love this. I can't even explain why I love it, but I do. Just taking ink and brushing, taking an old photograph, even if it's blurry, it just reminds me of like a memory, like a faded, muddy memory. I have those. Does anybody else have those? Those memories that are just dirty in your head. They're not quite in focus. It's not something that's really special, but it is because it's stuck with you in some way. You don't really know why it sticks with you, but that memory stays, and it looks like that in my head. And so sometimes I like to create things like that just so that I can really express the memory or put it into paper in the way that it feels. Um, and then let's see, let's go back here, and I'll see. I go too far back. And then there's bullet journaling. Some people like to bullet journal and they have the patience to do spreads like this where you track something that you're going through. YouTube, Instagram, I guess this person's posting stuff, shower, workouts and sleep schedules, tracking different things. There's another tracker. I like these trackers. These are cool. But for this, you need to be the type of person who likes productivity and likes to stay productive, and you need everything written down. You need to see everything that you're tracking. You also need the patience to take the time to actually create these spreads, unless you buy a spread that's already made and you just fill it out. That might save you some time. But I was the type of person that I could make a spread like this just to track my mood. Sure, why not? Because I'm artistic and I like art, and then I like to see colors on the screen or on my paper. But you do need to take some time. So every Sunday I would sit, and this isn't mine, by the way, but every Sunday I would sit and write or draw my spreads for the week. And then I found it kind of challenging after a while because I didn't have the kind of time. I'm a parent, and so sometimes I don't have time to sketch all that out. So I needed to find something that fit me and my time and my personality and my style. And then you have let's see, like field notes. People like these small books that are already made, and people like to customize them. I know that there's a gentleman who has a YouTube channel. He goes by the Gare Bear or something, or Gare the Bear. He talks about his field notes, and I love watching his channel because he customizes them and draws things on them, and I like seeing how excited he gets when he gets like a new uh, what are they called, like a collection, right? And they have mountains and all kinds of awesome designs, and I like it too because a gentleman who owns a Draplin design company. He's one of my favorite graphic designers. He actually is a co-founder of Field Notes, or at least that's what I understand. So I like him, but Field Notes, I don't know much about them enough to guide you there. But then there are things like this where you can write and still get creative, in a different way. You can write a pattern, write That's a little different. You can journal this way as well, just in patches, little things, write down. The point, I think, earlier I was watching a live by a young lady. Her name is Kelsey. Her page is my 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 abiding journal. I think it's what it is. Is it? I think so. My abiding journal. You can check her out. She does junk journaling, and she does a lot of sticker stuff, and pockets, and a lot of crafty stuff. She put it best. I asked her a question. I said, "How can we get? What do you think is missing to get more men into um, junk journaling?" And she said, "It's kept it very simple. Just document." And she's right. You just need to document. You just need to put something down on paper. It could be a feeling. It could be a thought. It could be just something you want to express. You want to tell a story. You want to write lyrics to. I think this is Alanis Morissette. um, but there's all types of journaling, and one of the type of journalings that I have made recently, because I don't have time to draw awesome things like that much. I at the very least want to document things that are happening in my life on a day-to-day basis, and so I keep it simple: the date, the time, and where I am, and then something that I want to either recall, or something that happened throughout my day. My son is is a little bit behind in his speech, so he's been going to speech therapy, and just watching him, say new words or do new things has been amazing. And so I might write a couple of things like here, like Ezekiel is obsessed with the Shrek movies, and he loves music. And so we found little things like that. I might document little words that he's saying, starting to say, things like that. Um, here's my little attempt at doing a little tiny little collage. I don't have much time, but I'll glue something every once in a while, just so that I could say I collage today. Writing my gratitude. If I'm going through something physical, like I'll write here. Let's just watch this. I write physical in red so it could stand out, and then I'll put my shoulders still burn. I know it's my poor posture. I stretch on the door to pull my shoulders back. That felt good. I also need to pull my head back when I write or work. My shoulders are overworking to keep my heavy head from falling forward. And then an A for action. Hip openers. I need to practice more hip openers. Use the couch to squat and open those hips. Support your lower back and shoulders. Strengthen your hips and lower back. Realizing, like, here I'm learning that one muscle supports the other. So if my shoulders are burning, I'm forced to carry my heavy head, and so I need to strengthen my lower back so that I can support my shoulders and support my big O head. And then I'll review, and just right here. So this was on the 25th of September. On the 28th, I said, shoulders feel better last 2 days. It was my posture and stress. Stop stressing. So I'll make little notes. And the point to this is that later on in the future, when my shoulders are burning, I might come back and say, oh yeah, it was my posture. Oh yeah, I stretched in this. I did these stretches. I did this hip openers, and it helped. I stopped stressing. Things like that. And then gratitude, always showing your gratitude. So this is here emotional. There's a heaviness in my heart. I need gone if I'm to do the things that I need to be done. Do I get rid of it? Does it go away on its own? Does it need to pass? Or is it requiring my attention? I'm going to sit with it quietly and observe, make note of it, and see where, and I crossed out where, and I said how to proceed. I misspelled proceed. That's why I rewrote it. Maybe it just wants to vent that it's scared. It needs to trust me and the Great Spirit, and trust the great void. And then I write what the great void is for me. I'm not going to get too much into that. But here's another thing that I did. Like, I know that a lot of these writings are for me, to help me. But one of the important things about this book is that I'm going to be gone one day. And I don't mean to get dark here, but, nothing lasts forever. And, my goal is to live forever. So far, so good. But I know that I have an expiration date. I hope that it's when I'm in my 80s or when I'm older, but I'm going to be gone one day. And one of these days after I'm gone, one of my children or my grandchildren, or maybe even my great grandchildren, is going to get a hold of this book and say, wow, grandpa was going through some stuff. And they're going to come across this page. And what's important about this page is that I traced my hand, and my great grandchild will look at it and be able to put his or her tiny little hand there and say, wow, my grandpa's hand was right here. And I'll be touching them through space and time. And and they'll get to somewhat meet me, you know. Sorry. Got a little emotional there, but that's the point. And then I'm writing little messages, little positive messages about reaching my hand out into the unknown, and observe, make note of it, and make the unknown known, about reaching into the unknown and pulling from it what I desire, because everything that is not manifested in this world is there, is found there, it's found in the unknown. So I'm writing little messages. I'm still not done, obviously, but I look. I'm not, obviously not going to be here to see it, but I look forward to somebody at one day finding this and putting their hand there, and reaching out to me when I'm in the void. So the point to these journals are to write where I'm at in my life in each phase. Sometimes it's important, really, really important, and other times it's just me, just being silly. Like Tuesday, September 30th. It's the last day of September. Someone needs to wake Billy Joe up tomorrow. If you know, you know. This year's almost over. It's crazy. So then me just cracking little jokes like that. If you know Billy Joe and you know September, you're gonna get it. And if you don't, then you don't. Sorry. And then just writing little things like, I'm learning a lot about my relationship with both the Great Spirit and the Great Void. I'm trying my best to have a good day. I didn't sleep well. I have a headache. My internet is down, so I can't go live or upload videos. I need to go with the flow and surrender to what is. I built the book binding press in minutes. It was easier than I thought it would be. So there's a video of me, a short, talking about this book binding press that I built. And here it is, documented, logged in time. And I'm going to be able to look back and say, wow, yeah, I remember that. It was my first journal that I wrote. My first book binding press that I built. And then I might look at something else that I built and be like, wow, I've come a really long way. So I'm writing all these journals. I'm writing little moments of time, documenting what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm experiencing, what I'm learning, what I'm struggling with, especially that one. You write, hey, I'm struggling with this right now. And I don't know how to deal with it. And then later on, you solve that problem, and then you reference back, or you write a little note on the side, like I did, like I have here. That's why that's why I've left this space around, so that I can come back and leave notes like this. The other day I was eating some caldito, which is like a chicken noodle soup that my mom made, and it was so good. I spilled some while I was journaling, and then I wrote caldo stain. So there's a little stain right here that's from a soup that I ate. And you don't know, in the future I'll look back, or one of my children will look back and be like, oh, my dad was eating soup. Not that matters, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. I documented when I reached the first 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and it's now at 1,200. My next goal right here, 2,500 subscribers. Setting goals. So you have a very flexible journal. You have junk journaling, bullet journaling, depending on your style, depending on your temperament, on your patience, even on your creativity. It doesn't have to be anything like what I just showed you, or it doesn't have to be this where you write down and you draw things and you have stickers. It can be, if that's who you are. If you see things that way, if you think that way, if you feel that way, there's a journal for you. But you may not get this may not be for you. You might be more like this, where your thoughts are just scattered everywhere, and you see things in patterns, and you want to collect what are they called, watercolor splashes and things like that. Or maybe you like maybe you like architecture, or maybe you're an artist and you like to sketch things and collect stamps. You might just want to put them on there and scribble, and maybe you bought a new pen and you're trying it out for the first time. Maybe you like to do little doodles like this, and just take pieces of paper that are torn and glue them and then write over them. I mean, all of this is just to get whatever is inside of you out and onto paper. And it could be for you, it could be for people in the future, once you're gone, for them to discover and get to know you. Someone pointed out and reminded me of the show The Bear, where Richie is talking to one of the chefs in this very fancy restaurant, and she's talking about how her relationship with her father and her mother wasn't the greatest, but that she got to know her dad after he passed, when she was cleaning out all his things from his drawer. She got to know him better through his journals, and she found it interesting how he just had a journal where he would write down things that he would see in his travels. When he saw the red, the sea was purple, and little things that he would find. And wouldn't it be interesting to have a journal that one day your children can look back on and say, wow, I thought I knew my mom, I thought I knew my dad, but through here I'm getting to know him deeper. Maybe my relationship with my daughters may, God forbid, but maybe my children and I won't have a great relationship, and maybe they might misunderstand me. And through my journals, once I'm gone, they'll see that I love them dearly, and that I did the very best that I could, that I was struggling with certain things. So if I couldn't be a good dad for them, that maybe through my journals, they'll see like, oh man, my dad really struggled with XYZ, and that's why he seemed, distant, or maybe that's why he buried his head in work, or maybe that's why he loved sketching, because if he didn't, he would lose his mind. Things like that. And so, these are like the rings of a tree that tell you how old the tree is. These are like your rings. These tell you in time, in real time, what you lived and how you thought and what things you struggled with, and what how you solved your problems, and how you managed to escape things like depression or procrastination, how you turned your life around, how maybe you were dealing with addiction and how you changed that. you know um, Journaling is just one of those things that saves your lives. It could save your life. And if you don't have one of these, at least follow along and make one of these and carry with you, and every once in a while just jot something down. Here, let me give you an example of one book that I carried with me. It's this one. I made it. As you can tell, I like drinking liquid death. And this journal, you see, I throw a little bit of junk journaling in here, right? Glue some stuff, just express something. I found this little picture in a newspaper, so I tore it out and I surrounded it with other materials. And then I put, people are slowed down by the perception of themselves. You slow yourself down based on how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who can't learn, then you're slowing your learning process. If you see yourself as someone who is always effing up, then guess what? You're going to F up. So you're slowed down by the perception of yourself. And then I wrote here the objective of this book. And the objective is to regain confidence in myself, to figure out the mindset of successful people. How do they think? What do they do? Why do they see things differently? Stay motivated with quotes from the greats, create art, and lead with curiosity. And here I am leaving quotes for myself. I have a story here of something that I see myself doing in the future, a little bit of journaling regarding voices in my head, of self-doubt, little things that I discover about self-confidence, quotes I come across, little notes that I want to leave for myself. Win the AM, win the PM. So if I win the morning, I can win the day. If you have a favorite quote, drop it in the live chat. Let me know, and I'll add it to my list. But here are just some things. Like here's how I am choosing to document what I'm living, and specifically with confidence. So this is my confidence book. I don't put anything else in it. And then recently, you might have seen that I made this journal, and this one was especially made because I wanted to learn how Leonardo da Vinci journaled. And so every time I have an idea or something that I want to learn, I write it down. So these are not really, it's not really a to-do list per se, because none of these things will have any sense of urgency. But I do write things like, send my friend the schedule for the year, and I write it in red because this one is something that needs to get done. Um, or like, hey, make a press for bookbinding with 2 boards, 2 screws, 2 wing nuts, and that's it. And then I built it. So this one did get done, but I'm jotting things down as I go along. And one day when I don't have any motivation or inspiration, I can come back here and say, oh yeah, I wanted to make a sewn book and figure out how to do 3 signatures minimum. So maybe I could do that now, right? Now that time has been filled. It's one way to keeping me on track. Another one that I have here is that I have a log here where I'm logging like interstitial journaling, right? Little things that are happening. Ezekiel is not doing well this morning, so I give him his medicine. Well, we gave him his medicine at 6:30 a.m. so I can keep track of when his medication is doing and things that I'm doing throughout the day. When I DoorDash, when I, so this I'm keeping like 2 or 3 different journals, but they each are not. It's not taking too much time. This one's quick entry. This one's also quick. The one in my other pocket is also quick. This is the only one where I slow down. And I write with intention something important that's happening, something that I want to remember, something that I want to figure out, an issue I might be having, some frustrations that I might be going through. What am I going through physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? What am I grateful for? What's my YouTube channel? How's it coming along? What am I doing to make it better? Little things like that. And so it's a matter of you finding out what works for you. Maybe you are creative and you have lots of time. Junk journaling and bullet journaling might be your thing. Maybe you do have time to draw, but you're not creative in that way, and you want to have more of like a minimalistic bullet journal. Then yeah, bullet journal. Watch this. Minimalist bullet journal. And here you are. You have very simple layouts. Tracking the mood from 0 to 10 on August 2020. It's a 4, it's a 3 for mindfulness, confidence. At a 4, you track, where you are on a day-to-day basis, or you could track your hydration. Are you drinking enough water from the 1st to the 30th in the morning, afternoon, and evening, I'm assuming, and then logging how many liters you had that day, tracking your sleeping. You could track the weather and see how maybe the weather is affecting your sleep, or how it's affecting whether or not you drink water. I mean, and this is done in a very minimalistic way. Or watch this. I put spreads bullet journal. And then you have trackers that are more, let's see, where is it? Now that I'm looking for one, I can't find one. Here's another, like a step up from that minimalistic one. You're adding color, you're adding, sketches, you're adding a calendar, things like that. Let's see. Oh, actually, here it is. Bullet journal trackers is what they're called. And here we are, you see, where every Sunday, or you pick a day and you're like, I'm going to make the spread for the week. And then, you have color coordinated stuff. You have, this is some female, feminine tracking. Let's see. You have, look at this. This is wild. I mean, for me, it's wild, but you might have time for this. You never know. I mean, I'm not judging, but it's like, man, I wish I had that kind of time. And I'm not saying that they don't have anything to do, but maybe they're just, they're better managing their time. They manage their time better, probably. So you have all kinds of trackers. This is how far a person is walking, and they log, 1K, 2K, 3K, how many kilometers or miles, I don't know, how many steps. Oh no, those are steps, sorry, 6,000 steps. the different types of spreads, man. They're different types. You just got to find which one is right for you, and you have to ask yourself whether you want to track something like this, like track an emotion, track water, exercise, or anything like that, or if you just want to write and document what's happening in your life, or if you want to track how you're feeling, things that you're feeling, your physical, emotional journey documentation, or maybe you just want to highlight something about your day so that you can remember it, look back and remember it. I mean, it's endless. So I threw a lot at you all. I hope I didn't confuse you even more, but I don't think I did. Um, but find your style, explore it. And if I were you, I would just first, before I start writing anything down, look into all of the types of journaling there is out there, and then decide. But only after you see what's out there, because if you start exploring things and you come across bullet journaling but you don't ever hear about junk journaling, then you're going to be stuck doing something that maybe isn't for you. Who knows? But the point is to grab a piece of paper, document, and journal. And that's it for me. Those are that's my advice here, my unsolicited advice for you to start journaling. But if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section, and we will we'll discuss them. Maybe I'll make a video off of your question or off of your statement, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on our next adventure. Peace.